Hello, dear students. Welcome to What, Why, How, the daily initiative by IAS Baba, where we take up a daily current affair or an editorial and we try to declutter it in less than 10 minutes. The topic that I've chosen for today is regarding a very important government scheme that has chances to be asked both for your prelims and your mains. Very recently, there was a news that said that the Prime Minister has distributed almost 58 lakh property cards under a scheme to digitize rural property records. Now, this is the scheme that we are going to discuss. It is called as your SWAMITVA scheme. Otherwise, the survey of villages and mapping with improvised technology in village areas. Now, this is not a recent scheme. The scheme started way back in April 2020 and it was spearheaded by the Panchayati Raj Ministry. Though it started in 2020, by now is where the final outcome of this scheme has now been implemented. And we'll study what is the final outcome. But understand the primary aim of this scheme has been to ensure that the land which is seen as an asset in India is properly regulated, is properly all the records related to the land owned by people are maintained in a very transparent manner. As of today, you have to understand the scheme's targets are likely to be all achieved by 2026. Most of the Indian states, barring few states of West Bengal, Nagaland, etc., barring them, most of the other states have already been onboarded on this scheme. Now, for the scheme to happen in a good manner, this is what these different stages of it is. First of all, there would be a signing of the MOE between the Survey of India and the states. Now, in this case, certain states like Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, etc., were happy to be part of the pilot of this program. So, what happened is there would be a signing between the Survey of India and the states. Once that is done, what happens is they would set up a CORS station. The CORS station is primarily kept so that all the necessary internet, all the necessary drone services with respect to this scheme can be used in a proper manner. After the CORS station is set up, there would be a Gram Sabha organized to let the people know that they are now going to whatever their property is, that will be clearly marked, it will be clearly digitized, and they will receive something called as a property card. So now you have to understand the final outcome of this program is receiving a property card which will have all the details of your land parcel, the dimensions, the different features in it, etc. Now, it's as part of this that I'm saying here that very recently 2.19 crore property cards have been finalized so far. And if you look at the title of the news, it basically says 58 lakh property cards were given very recently. So now you understand what a property card is. One more point to be noted, to give the property card, what happens in the scheme is that you have a clear information awareness spread to the people. There is something called as a drone survey. Based on the drone survey, there would be different elements of feature extraction. Feature extraction means what are the areas? Is there any, for example, in the boundaries of land, if there are any trees, any water body, etc., all that will be clearly marked. Once that is done, incorporating all the details, a map will be generated not only for that particular land parcel, but for the entire village. Once all of this is done, there would be again a meeting to discuss any kind of disputes that people have with respect to their land boundaries. After the discussion of this dispute happens, then you finally have the property card. Now, also understand, under this scheme, almost 92% of the drone mapping has already been done, covering almost 3.17 lakh of the total 3.44 villages that were targeted. So almost, if I'm looking at it, there were 3.44 villages targeted, 3.17 is already covered. 92% drone mapping has been done and 2.19 crore property cards have been finalized. On so far, the scheme has been going exceptionally well. One more point to be noted from your prelims perspective is that the agriculture lands are not covered under this scheme. Now comes to the point as to why we need this scheme. First of all, the scheme was done so that there's a creation of accurate land records for any kind of rural planning, and any kind of property related disputes can also be reduced. Once this is done, this is the short term goal of it. The long term goal of it is that to bring financial stability to the citizens in the rural areas. How so? See, land is an asset that can be either pawned or either can be kept in the bank as some kind of a leverage to gain any kind of loans and to gain any kind of other financial benefits. So, this is going to give some financial stability to the rural population. Besides, determination of property tax will also be very helpful once we get to know what amount of property is owned by each people. Creation of survey infrastructure and GIS maps that can be leveraged by any department for their use. Now, right now, all the maps are created to give the property cards. But tomorrow, if there's a disaster management related activity, or if there's a health related activity, or if there is some kind of an infrastructure related activity, all the maps that were created by the Survey of India for the SWAMITVA scheme can be used over there also. Finally, to support any kind of Gram Panchayat development plan. Now, since you know the boundaries, you know the water bodies, you know the land levels of each areas, you can plan your development programs accordingly. Now, to conclude this scheme brings into the fore three major important points: technology, transparency, and empowerment. Technology that can be used to digitize the land, transparency that can be incorporated in your governance, and the empowerment that the rural people feel after their land has been digitized. So, on all these three levels, Swamitwa scheme so far has been doing really well. The only drawback that has been discussed for the scheme as of now is the fact that some states have still not onboarded the program. Some states are reluctant to start this program, and that is the only drawback that has been suggested as of now. So I hope you've understood this important scheme that can be asked both for your prelims and for your mains. Until we meet again, take care and happy learning.